What's up, y'all? It's Eric, the host of the podcast, Tapped In with my co hosts Marcus and Alex. I'm just putting this little intro up front to let you guys know that uh, there are more than a little bit of technical difficulties with this episode, as you will come to notice. We are trying to, just be real transparent. We are new to this shit. I've done one podcast before with a few episodes, but it's whatever. It's work in progress. We're a work in progress podcast, as you will know, as you will hear. Um, Alex cuts off at the end. My mic cuts in and out sometimes. We're figuring it out, but stick with us and we'll get better. We're currently editing episode 2. It's much better than the first episode, quality wise. So yeah, just stay tuned. We will get it all worked out.
You know what I was like during my glory days, do you?
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our currently nameless podcast where we give our takes on the things that we love, spanning from pop culture shit to nerd shit to everything in between. Today we got my nigga Marcus Murray. Oops.
Hey man, edit that shit, dog.
Edit.
I'll bleep it out.
Our good brother Marcus.
We got our good brother Marcus, aka Lil Daddy, aka Big Protein. What's good, Marcus? Tell us about yourself.
Hey man, I'm just, first off, they call me Omega Marcus. You know what I mean? They don't call me little Poppy, or they don't call me Big Protein. I haven't had protein in weeks. You know what I'm saying? I've been eating off the ground, on that new vegan shit.
That's where you find the best protein, truly.
Big ups to the aphids. You know what I mean? That's my food group. That's the only food group I eat from. All right, aphids. Blue, green, red.
Talk your shit.
That's it, and that's it.
All right. Up next, we got my boy Alex, young Alex, aka Lil Lubivert, aka Men's Lubriderm. Don't sue this, please. What's up, Alex? What's up?
What's up? Y'all might as well pay me for all them names that y'all coming up with. Also, fuck Chet Hanks. He can burn
of course, it's always fuck Chet Hanks.
why we going right into the beat?
Look, man.
Yeah,
I came in. I chose violence tonight.
Hey, you chose violence.
If anybody listens to this, I just not fuck with Chet Hanks.
Definitely not.
We don't.
It's not a white boy summer either.
It's not.
No white boy summer.
We don't like that. So as you probably heard earlier, we don't have a name for our podcast. We kind of, still workshopping it. We're still getting it together. It's a process, and we're gonna need y'all to
I'm all for the Omega Boys.
That's Omega Boys.
Omega Boys.
See,
Dick Biscotti Boys.
The Dick Big.
What about Lotion Boys?
Lotion Boys. I feel like those names are given the wrong idea for what we're gonna be doing, which basically we're going to be. All of this is our name right after this episode, right after this recording. Just bear with us, stick with us, and you'll see where we're going with it. Just listen, or you'll regret it. Honestly, I'll find you. Anyways,
I know.
Anyways,
hey, but hold up. Let's make it more concise though. Comics, movies, anime, music.
Yeah, we're gonna be
gang shit.
We're gonna
and that's
be
it.
Basically, watching all types of stuff, and then we're gonna come here and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna shoot the shit and see what we can come up with. Give our best opinions. Right now, we are going to be watching the show on Amazon Prime, Invincible. It's a newer show based on a comic superhero who's recently coming into his powers in a world of superheroes, and just his journey along the way. We just recently finished the first episode, and that's the one we're going to be talking about here today. All right.
Wait, to be clear though, I've finished all the episodes.
All the episodes aren't even out.
I finished all the episodes out.
He got the bootlegs.
As of recording, 7 episodes are out.
Marcus
we watched
and I,
7 episodes.
Yeah, so for some context, Marcus and I have watched all the available episodes, which I believe is 8 episodes.
It's 7. The 8 episode comes out on Friday.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we watched all of them up until now. Alex is brand new to the series. He's literally watched the first episode today.
Yeah, first episode today. Had no knowledge of the show prior to today, so here we are.
Here we are indeed, Alex.
Any of y'all read the comics?
No.
Nah, not really. I didn't even know about the What comic company is it?
It's Image Comics, and it's like, I don't know, for those that don't know Image Comics, they're a big
Spawn.
It doesn't sound right to say it's indie, but it basically is. It's not Marvel, it's not DC, it's its own thing, and it's basically creator owned comic books. Creators can go to Image and be like, yo, I have a pitch for a comic book, and if Image thinks it's a good idea, then they give control. They produce the comics, and while having the creators retain control of the comic series themselves. So it's not like just one universe, although in terms of Invincible, which has been on Image for a long time now, it's kind of got in a shared universe, because there's a couple of comics that surround the Invincible universe, and there's also ones that are like that share similar spaces, like Savage Dragon out of Image Comics. I think that was actually Image Comics' first comic, maybe, or at least one of the big firsts. But you'll find that like in the Invincible comic book, there's like Savage Dragon shows up, and other comic book people.
I
from
just
Image.
looked it up, and I saw that Spawn is an Image comic, and I was unaware of that.
No, Image is a big deal, man. Especially in recent years, just because of the creator-owned factor of it.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of really dope IPs that have come out of Image, because they just give the best deals to creators, and so Image has a lot of like kind of groundbreaking comics that have come out of them. Like right now on my shelf, I would say there's more Image comics than anything, because they're just dope. Yeah, and I'm a big Marvel fan, less not really a DC fan, but big Marvel fan. But Image comics are just tight.
I love them both. I can't even say I'm like one or the other. I love both of them, honestly. I enjoy all their movies, all their comic book. I read both. Like I read both of their comic books and watch all their shows and shit.
You talking DC and Marvel?
DC and Marvel, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably not as a big of a fan as you two, I would say, but I'll definitely try and check out like the bigger movies and stuff like that. So yeah.
Honestly, I think that's a good thing. I think having the perspective of somebody who isn't as well versed in comic books is probably a good thing, because you get to go into the shit that we get into like completely blind. Like this, honestly, well, for this one I came in completely blind. I didn't know what to expect.
Same.
I just saw it on Twitter and I was like, that sounds dope.
Also, random, the person that wrote this also wrote The Walking Dead, which I found pretty interesting.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's another big. That's another big Image comic is The Walking Dead.
Robert. His name is Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
He's a powerhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Clearly, that's 2 huge ones, because I feel like Invincible is like just beginning. It seems like Like we're
In
only in
terms
the
of the
first
show?
season. Yeah, in terms of the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the show is so getting into the show, or in a broader sense, getting into this first season and what the first season's shaping up to be. They're really taking their time getting through the content of the first comics. The first collection of comics really kind of developed the story pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And the show is kind of taking its time, which I kind of like because it's still pretty entertaining without
Mhm.
without being like a bunch of filler that you would have in like anime and shit.
Right. And I feel like the pace I feel like after watching, all the episodes, the pacing is really nice. I feel like it's really good pacing. There's no boring episodes. There's not a single boring episode
Yeah.
of this show so far. Like especially the first episode. The shit was wild.
How many total episodes is it going to be for the season? Is it 8 or is it?
There'll be 8.
Like
The season finale's coming out on Friday.
I like that with shows because I feel like sometimes with 10-episode shows, like towards the middle, it kind of like drags on.
Yep.
So that's good to hear. I'm excited to see that.
They got to keep it nice and tight.
Yeah, that's dope.
Toy.
Yeah, Amazon's doing their thing. Sort of in the superhero, the adult superhero business because
The Boys.
there's a lot of superhero. Yeah, there's a lot of superhero content out right now. But there's not a whole lot of adult superhero, like kind of abrasive in the way that Amazon's programs are. Like The
They
Boys
got a
is
stranglehold on it.
Yeah, The Boys is just like real strong. You know what I mean? Like it's bloody, it's adult, it's
risky.
It's just, yeah.
Definitely risky.
And to the same extent, so is Invincible.
It is.
And in the first episode, man, going into the first episode, I was also like, I didn't really know what to think about Invincible. I had seen commercials for it. I follow a lot of artists on like Twitter and Instagram. They're like, yo, looking forward to this. Love the comic book series. And my girl, she's read the comics too. And she says, oh yeah, it's good. But going into that first episode, I was just, I was instantly getting Justice League vibes, right? Where you have,
I agree.
You have the Mauler twins attacking the White House.
I fucking love the Mauler twins.
And the Mauler twins, they end up being sort of that reoccurring supervillain
spoiler
archetype that continues to just, mess stuff up, but they're sort of the like benign supervillain. The one that just always pops up, but always gets defeated, right?
Like a Captain Boomerang type deal.
Yeah. But you got the Mauler twins, and they show up and start wreaking havoc, and then you instantly have the equivalent in the Invincible universe as the Justice League, equivalent comes swooping down, and so you instantly get the sort of Justice League vibes.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And for better or for worse, I grew up on Justice League and like that, like animation
Justice
style.
League
It's like, Justice League Unlimited. And so that's kind of what, starting it off like that, I was like, all right, yeah, it's cool. It's, your basic superhero fare. But I think what sets this apart and, makes it basically more adult is just sort of how the tone gradually sort of changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I won't even say gradual because I feel like that's not what it is. It's pretty abrupt.
Yeah.
But you get you get little hints.
Wait.
You get little hints with Invincible, revealing to his dad that he got powers, and his dad like sort of apathetic to it.
He like froze up and like got all weird about it. Yeah.
Hold on, before we really get into it, Alex, what were your like first impressions going into the show? Marcus just gave his. What were your like first impressions turning it on? What were you thinking?
So first impression, you see like the Mauler twins attacking the White House, and I thought that was pretty cool. I liked seeing all the different superheroes. getting to know more of them, you know, because they look pretty cool. I want to see what all their powers were.
Yeah.
But like as you watch the show, you'll like realize like that's not a fucking thing. So like, or initially I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Then like honestly, towards the middle, like when he was bonding with his dad, I wasn't really like feeling that all that much, to be honest. Like this is kind of like cliche and corny, like every superhero movie. Like I don't know, like whatever. Like I'm not trying to watch this, but then like you said, like we hit that abrupt switch in the episode, and then like they get all the call to all meet in that like tunnel or whatever, and then like what's his name? Like Op-Man? Is that the main character's name?
Omni-Man.
Omni-Man. Yeah. Omni-Man, and then like he just comes in and like the tone is just switched instantly. He just starts bashing off his homies. I'm like, yo, this is fucking wild. Like, I like the violence and I like the gore, so that switch alone made me interested in watching the rest of the series. Because if it would have kept with like the light tone, kind of like him bonding with his dad, I don't honestly. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I would even like vibe with this or like even keep watching it. But with the fact that he like killed all the superheroes, episode 1 was like, all right, like what's really going on? So now I'm curious. So yeah.
I'll say that definitely set the tone for the entire series for sure. Like that was definitely like the point where I was like, oh, so we got something here. Like, there's something here for sure.
And that's what I was thinking. And not to cut you off, but like what? Because with this show, like Market, are you kind of hinted at like that something bad was going to happen? So like my initial thoughts, I was thinking like maybe the dad was going to die or something at the end of the episode. Like that's what I was thinking. Like what's the plot twist? Like what's gonna be the kicker to keep people like interested in this show? But then like we like came to find out that they're killing all the other superheroes and shit.
Yeah. Were you kind of disappointed when the credits rolled? Like because the credits roll and then they go into the Guardians being bashed off.
No, I wouldn't say I was disappointed. It's like, oh, that's interesting that now they're like putting on like the title of the show. So I was just interested, like, okay, this is cool. Like this is Invincible. Like. And I guess at that point, I thought that's what the show was going to be about, like kind of him bonding with his dad. But then we keep going back to like the tone switch, and then like now we see what the show is really about.
Right. One thing that you kind of mentioned, you kind of touched on. Well, before we get into that, let me tell you my first impressions. I definitely only heard about it from Twitter. I just saw some people tweeting about it, like, "Wow, Invincible's crazy." So unfortunately, I kind of had some context as to what it would be like. I knew it would be like probably really violent or like, just kind of dark, like a little like, dark. And going into it, I kind of already had that feeling that it was going to be like that. So I guess I was a little more invested from the jump. Because I'm like, already waiting, like, all right, when's some shit about to go down? When is somebody's getting split in half, or when it's, something like that. But when it started, I was just like, oh, this seems just like a fairly dope superhero show. And seeing one thing I love about any show that has like superheroes or whatever is power variety. And I always love when they are creative with like abilities. Like all the Guardians, it kind of obsessed me that they were all smacked off like on the first episode, because I was really interested in all their fucking abilities. Like there was that stretchy thing with the little ball. I thought that guy was interesting. It seemed like there was a lot more to that green invisible girl. And also they were all really close to like Justice League members. Like
well, and that's what that served as. You know what I mean? Like you see them and you're instantly reminded of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Right? All of those superheroes were essentially not made to be very deep, but they were meant for you to connect them to other superheroes that you already know.
Yeah, because you had like in a sense the Flash dude, and then like the Night.
Yeah, you have
dude,
the red, you have the Flash dude. Colors are even the same.
Right.
Same thing with the Wonder Woman character, and like
War Woman.
the War Woman, and then the you'll find out that the alien stretchy dude is just like a Martian Manhunter type.
Pretty
character,
much, yeah.
Right, and so
there was a lot of parallels.
Yeah, that's why they did that. Yeah, and then the Batman, Darkwing. You know what I mean? So
Black
it's like
Batman.
it's like, here's a group that and here's them doing what you know them to do in standard superhero fare.
Exactly.
And I think throughout Invincible, you sort of the basis of it is a lot of these sort of superhero tropes that you've come to know just as being a superhero fan or a comic fan, or whatever media you get your superhero fix out of. These archetypes,
Yep.
and so it's familiar, but then it's also twisted. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's that contrast where it's like, oh, this is just a coming of age story, kids getting his powers. Even when it was like, oh, I don't have my powers yet, you knew he was gonna get his powers. That's how it always goes. There's always a late bloomer, and then he comes into his powers, and then he starts learning, and then he's like thrust into this world that already exists, where you have these Batman type characters, this Justice League type organization, and so yeah, I agree with Alex. When I first watched it, it was like, yo, this is kind of boring. You know what I mean? This is a story that we've heard before.
Right.
Typical bully at school, punches the main character in the face. And
very
I
Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, and
sure.
I kept pausing it. When I first watched it, because I didn't know anything about it. I kept pausing it and checking the rating of it, because I was like, how is this TVMA?
Like, why do people like this? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I was just like, yo, it's cool, but it's basic.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, here's a superhero universe, but it's not doing nothing.
Exactly.
And then it hits that switch. And you know what I like? I liken that switch to watching the Berserk movies. It's just like, all right, medieval, and then
fucking monster.
And then what's the thing that he had? The little round thing with the face?
I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yes, that thing like awakens and starts crying, and then all of a sudden we're like thrust into this hellscape, and then the entire genre of what you're watching changes. The tone and everything else.
And that's how it is. You've read the comics, right, of Berserk?
Yeah, I've read the comics. I've read some of the comics of Berserk, not like super deep because it's been going on forever. But in the manga though, there's you have sort of more hints into the sort of
comics. I meant manga.
No, you're good. In the manga though, there's more hints towards like a darker something darker happening right at the beginning.
But it definitely starts out as like a band of like mercenaries or something, just
a band of knights, like
just wandering around,
and mercenaries looking for glory. Not to go off on a Berserk tangent, but
we did go on.
but it reminded me of that switch where it's just like shit changes all at once, and you have to sort of readjust your expectations and find that you're not watching what you had been watching up until that point.
The Behelit. Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to touch on was one thing that I see recurring, and it's definitely a recurring theme in the show, where they give a lot of context to certain things or certain characters that are kind of like meaningless, but I'm okay with it. Like the very first scene is this like deep ass scene with these security guards when he's talking about his troubled stepson. And it was like, that's a lot of context for two characters that aren't even shown again for the entire first episode.
It sort of sets the tone of the reality that you find yourself in,
right. And
that one security guard, hold on, not to cut you off again, but that one security guard, it's so funny because it's played by John Hamm from Mad Men. Is it really? Yeah,
I guess I kind of recognize his voice. That's a big star to play like a small part like that.
If you look at the cast for even the Guardians,
huge.
those are all
huge cast,
pretty big names for the Guardians. But throughout the whole show, it's a thing where it's you sort of have this star-studded cast, but it's almost abnormal to see so many stars in animation.
Real quick, I'm hearing stuff. What am I hearing?
It's probably me.
Alex is moving out and shit.
What is that?
I just ordered food and I'm opening the bag.
Okay, I hear that, but I also hear something else.
Like, what are you hearing?
That. Did you hear that?
No. Me walking?
I heard it.
I just turned the light on.
No, it's like a snake.
Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Maybe it is you walking. It sounds like paper, like that.
Oh, you know what? Alex, do you have a mic on?
I do. I have like my headphones in, yeah.
Oh, I think the headphones.
It's like rubbing up against your shirt.
It might be
something.
rubbing up against your skin.
Yeah. Okay, that's probably what you guys are hearing. I'll be mindful of that.
Well, this whole part is going to be cutting out, so we can get back into it. What was it? Oh, so the thing that the reason I brought that up is because that kind of set like a precedent for them to set up all the Guardians, give them so much context. That like the Guardians had so much context. Like there was the Martian dude who had the kid with him. Like what was that about? Who was that kid?
Oh yeah,
Why was she with him? Like there's so much like potential for backstory for it to just be completely cut off. Like none of it even mattered.
Yeah. And I think more and more we'll begin to hear and see more of those backstories.
Yeah. I hope so.
It goes.
I hope so too.
I'm really interested. I was really interested in the Guardians. I'm upset that it was cool that indifferent that they all just got marked off at the beginning, but I like them. I like all their like individual powers and shit. I like that.
Yeah,
they turned Aquaman into an actual fish.
Yeah.
It
kind of reminded me of like some shit that Game of Thrones would do like back in the day. Like you get attached to like these random characters and then they just like murk them off like out of nowhere and shit. Then you're like,
super
okay,
quick.
So
too.
like what
Definitely
now?
Game of Thrones-ish.
Like episode 1, like yeah, they definitely set the tone for the show.
Episode 1, they died. I can see if they died halfway through the season, but no, episode 1, we're like, hey, we like these characters. They're pretty cool. Nope.
Let's kill them. Fuck them.
And that was definitely the producers of the show. That was I feel like a calculated choice.
Oh, for
because
sure.
in the comic books, much of what happens in season 1, I'm not gonna say much, but a good portion of what happens in season 1 happens before the Guardians are even killed. And so to that extent, it's a bit of a slower start in seeing that Omni-Man has ulterior motives. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the comics, it's like Invincible. He goes on a couple of runs. He does his thing, and he becomes more of a superhero before you have the Guardians get murked off.
So I have a question for you guys. How do you feel about the Sun or Omni-Man and the Sun, like as a character? Do you guys like him, or how do you feel about him?
I would say by the first episode, I would say by the end of the first episode, which I kind of have to think back to how I felt on the first episode, because so much shit is different now that we're like all caught up. I would say on the first episode, I didn't like either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what made me not like Mark was that small part where he's talking to his mom.
Oh, dude.
And she's like, get inside now, and he's like, make me. Like, nigga, what do you?
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I don't like when people disrespect their moms, like
right
on a personal level. So
I hated that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do? Like, punch her? Like, you're gonna murder your mom if you don't go in the house? Like, come on. So
I think that what that's sort of playing to is because I think right a couple scenes before that, his
Omni-Man.
dad also
Yeah.
had a similar moment with his mom where he was sort of blowing up at her. And in a weird way, I think that speaks to the true nature of what we'll
Viltrumites.
find is the nature of Viltrumites. Yeah.
I was also
Not
about
that
to comment on that.
not that Mark knows that or anything, but like I think a parallel could be drawn there between this sort of arrogant disrespect that Viltrumites could sometimes exhibit if they're not in check. You know what I mean?
Are Viltrumites the like
Viltrumites?
Viltrumites, is that like the powers that they
No,
get?
that's what Omni-Man is. That's his race.
Oh, okay. Gotcha,
That's his
gotcha.
race.
I didn't
Yeah.
catch
So
that. Okay.
in that first episode, he there's like a flashback. Him and his Mark and his dad are on the roof, and his dad's basically telling him about the Viltrumites and Viltrumite society, right? And actually, Alex, you should go back. You should watch that part specifically, because in this final episode, I think they're gonna revisit that exact same scene, but it's gonna be a little changed.
Speaking of which,
yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of that, there was something I noticed on this episode that I didn't really think about before. And I hope this doesn't really like hint towards anything specific or what's to come or anything like that, but there was this small scene on like when he was talking to his son about the Viltrumites where he's like, "Where I met your mom." And they show this tiny clip of a flashback where he's like holding a car above his head and it looks like his mom is like cowering in the street
underneath it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I feel like they're trying to make it seem like, oh, he probably saved her from the car, being a superhero. But something I noticed was he was fresh to earth. Like he was still wearing his Viltrumite uniform and shit. And I feel like that might be another subversion that they're gonna do, to where like, oh yeah, we think that he probably just met her saving people from a fucking car crash or some shit like that, but it's probably gonna be something else
darker. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That whole part is so in the comics it's like pretty much shot for shot for that his like flashback to Viltrum where they're flying around, Peacekeepers of the Galaxy. You see that, except it has a different spin on it, basically, in the comics, without like giving too much away. But I think we'll definitely see that again.
It's definitely some shit that's not as it seems. First, obviously, because this man just wiped out the Guardians for I know for seemingly. I mean, obviously, it's for no reason, but
no, there's a reason.
I know. Obviously, there's a reason, but it doesn't seem like they're even trying to heavily hint at to what that reason might be until this episode. Because I've been seeing tweets and stuff about this like the episode that's gonna come out, and they're like, even if you think you know what's gonna happen, you have no idea, which tells me that they're probably not about to do it exactly how they did it in the comic books, or I think they're probably about to make some big crazy change.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It'd be cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
But either way, the second season's gonna be fire. This first season's is dope. There's so much content to go off of, and it's just a dope show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It is,
and it's also interesting. It's a how do I say this? it seems, not that it can be, but it seems that it's in a different universe, or a different universe than the comic book itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I feel like they'd probably have to do that
Yeah,
because obviously, if you read the comic books, you could just spoil shit for everybody, and I'm sure
yeah,
that So that's why I'm saying I'm pretty sure it's gonna be different. So something's gonna be. I think there's going to be a huge thing that's different that nobody's gonna be expecting, and I can't wait personally.
I can't wait to watch some more episodes. To be honest,
Man, you're lucky.
yeah, I'm going on this. Yeah, you guys already know what's
going
gonna
in
happen,
on it
but
the first time.
yeah,
I wish this was my first time. I was watching this first episode, like, damn, this shit is fire. I'm excited to finish this series again. Honestly, I've been meaning to watch. I've been meaning to watch a few episodes again, so this will definitely give me an excuse to watch them all.
Yeah, we're
for
back
sure.
in it,
Yeah, for
Hell
sure.
yeah!
especially before Friday and stuff.
And I also love to actively talk about shit because I be tweeting about it, but everybody be like, "Man, you tweeting spoilers?" Like, no, I'm not tweeting spoilers.
Who tells
So,
you that you tweet spoilers?
Marshall be telling me that I tweet spoilers a lot. Was like, you tweeting? What? Wait, no, I don't think that was about. Oh, it was about Invincible. She was like, you tweeting all these spoilers. I'm gonna have to unfollow you. But I don't be tweeting spoilers. I'm careful with what I say.
That's more than a lot of people.
That
I have to stay off of Twitter.
yeah,
Dude,
I have to stay off of Twitter on Friday mornings because
I wake up early to watch it.
See, and I can't do that because I watch these shows with my girl and her brother, and we can only do that after work. So like Friday, I can't even, like Friday all day. I basically can't look at Twitter because it's a lot of tweets, it's a lot of spoilers.
And oh my god, Friday is probably gonna be so bad. I feel sorry for anybody who doesn't watch it that day, or even halfway through the day.
For real.
I'm gonna make sure I watch that shit bright and early before I even touch Twitter. I'm waking up early to see it.
first thing you do when you wake up?
Literally. Literally. That's what I did for this most recent episode, and I'm glad I did.
See, it's interesting for me. I don't mind spoilers all that much, to be honest. Because
Really?
yeah, because for me, I still like to see how you get to that point. I guess it depends on like what's being spoiled. So like,
I could see that, but I hate that shit.
See, like
I envy you, Alex.
One example.
It is honestly. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one example, or just like, so when I started watching Breaking Bad, like unrelated, like I was watching with XC, and he was in like the final season. Like I don't know if you guys watched it, but like it's the episode where like his brother dies or he kills his brother or whatever. And that was the very first episode of Breaking Bad. So then I went into this whole show. I was like, yo, that's dope. But how does it get to that point? So like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't mind it too much. And I've had like Game of Thrones spoiled for me and shit too. So I don't.
That's truly in this day and age. That's a fucking superpower. That is truly a superpower to not care about spoilers. It's so hard to avoid spoilers these days.
It is. And that's why I just like brush it off, like whatever. Like people tweet about, well, like obviously I'm new to Invincible, but like Snowfall, I've been watching and I see people tweet about Snowfall all the time. Like, all right, so I already know this is gonna happen. I already know this is gonna happen. But like it is what it is at this point. Yeah.
I feel like with Snowfall specifically, because that's a show that I just started watching.
Okay.
Last month. But I don't mind spoilers for that just because I'm so far behind that I don't think I'll remember any of the spoilers.
True that.
Once I actually get through it.
And I'm gonna say
it's like a different thing. Like if it's a show that's been out for a minute, there's multiple seasons for me to catch up. I don't think I mind spoilers because usually I won't retain them.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a show that I'm like actively watching every week, which that's what Amazon does with their rollout of shows, that's what Disney does with their rollout of shows. Mm-hmm. So if I'm actively watching it, like Invincible or The Boys or Falcon Winter Soldier,
mm-hmm.
I don't want to see spoilers for that.
That makes sense.
What I mean?
My thing with spoilers is I feel like for me specifically, it just kind of ruins the fun for me. I like to be really excited about things and I like to be surprised and I like to have my mind blown. So
yeah.
Like for instance, I mean, But then again, on the other hand, I feel like I can still enjoy stuff if it's spoiled. I know I can because I had Demon Slayer spoiled for me, but I went to see the movie and I still like fucking loved it, and I'm probably gonna go watch it again soon. But everybody spoiled the fuck out of Demon Slayer. Like I was really upset about it, but I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna watch the movies and shit. But it's tough.
I heard
mean,
that.
I definitely wish I didn't have the burden of trying to avoid spoilers because it's kind of like debilitating in some aspects.
And sometimes you don't even think about it. Like you just hop on Twitter, like not even thinking.
Right.
All of a
And then
sudden,
first thing,
here's a meme.
bam.
Yeah, exactly. Bam, bam, bam.
Or like you check to see what's trending, and it's like this character's dead. You know what I mean?
Marcus,
It's just like, well,
now that I
fuck.
think about it, Marcus, you spoiled Game of Thrones for me.
Yeah, but that's your fault, man. You can't be late on a worldwide sensation. Everybody was watching that shit at the same time.
Literally,
to get into. It was so hard to get. Okay, are y'all telling me that y'all just like turned on Game of Thrones and y'all was just in it?
Oh no,
yes.
definitely not.
I was in it.
I had to watch the first like 4 episodes like 3 or 4 times for me to get into it.
I swear to God, I've tried to watch
Bran
the first
from
episode,
a tower, and that didn't get you.
I didn't get that far.
No, it didn't.
That's
it
the
wasn't
first
that it
episode.
Didn't get me. It was just hard for me to grasp all the like the storyline and all the lore of Game of Thrones. So like,
I
maybe
love that shit.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
why.
dense.
That's part of the reason why I nerd out on stuff like that is just the world building. Like that's a big draw for me.
Building, yeah.
World bending.
What built. Hey, I'm Avatar, the last world bender.
Oh my
God. But yeah, with Game of Thrones, I knew that it was a good show. I was like, I know Marcus fucks with this show. I know Alex fucks with this show, and y'all have probably the closest taste. Damn it! I said it again. I'll do better next episode.
Bleep it out. Just bleep it out.
Bleep it out.
Would you say that? The one we don't say? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't hear.
God,
I didn't
the word we don't say is about to say it himself.
That word.
But yeah, y'all have like really close like tastes to me in like most things, like especially like movies and TV shows, video games, all that stuff. So I was like, I know that I'm going to love this show. I just have to get into it. It took me like
what
4
did I
times.
spoil? Do you remember what I spoiled specifically for you?
I remember I was talking about Zoro Zohan Daxos, and then out of nowhere, you're just like a bunch of people about to die, or something like that.
Oh no, but that's just my go-to. That's my go-to spoiler for anything.
Yeah, but you were accurate.
I mean,
but it's not hard. Yeah,
it's not hard for Game
right.
of Thrones. But so funny, Yama actually spoiled Game of Thrones for me when he said that Ned Stark died. Because I was telling him, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm starting Game of Thrones." Yada yada yada. He's like, "Did you see the episode where Ned Stark died?" I was like,
"Oh my God,
no,
why would he lead with that?"
I was like, "No." And then like the other thing that got spoiled for me where Game of Thrones is when fucking Joffrey died. And this is like my own fault because I was like on like a Game of Thrones wiki like trying to like look up like the family like
that
line or whatever.
Oh yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I fucked up because I was like Joffrey. I was like, it said seasons 1 through 4, and I was on season 4. I was like, wait,
damn.
So Joffrey's about to die soon? But I didn't know how he died, but I just knew he was going to die. So that one wasn't as bad.
Yeah, see that's the thing. When you're late.
Yeah,
that's
and
exactly when I got hooked on the show is when Ned Stark died. I was instantly hooked.
Damn, it took a minute.
I was like, this shit different. I mean, I'll say I was into the show. I was into the show like from the first episode, but when Ned Stark died, that's when I was like, this shit's different. This is different. Like, and I really fucks with it. Like they don't give a shit about the audience's favorite characters, obviously.
Well, and that's also part of the draw to it too, is the trauma of losing these characters you care about so much.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We're all masochists.
But then the show ended in a different way where you lose the character that you've been rooting for to something else entirely, and that's just that character going through it's not even that abrupt, but that character changing in a way that you don't like, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you wanted to see Daenerys on the throne, but then
I didn't, but I get what you're saying.
all right, well, most people,
Yeah, I get what you're
were
saying,
rooting
though.
for her,
Yeah.
and then to see how she actually has to get it,
Yeah.
it changes the character. And I don't think people
You
are
know
really
what?
like a part. I don't know if they really would like that layer of character development. But I mean, I think it makes sense. It just is like, yeah, man. I mean,
You know what was upsetting for me? The biggest upset for me in Game of Thrones, the entire series, the ending, all the ending shit, I didn't care about. Like, that was whatever. I hated how we didn't fully get to see Daenerys's descent into madness. I
yeah,
wanted to watch it. I wanted to watch her start, start small, like
Yeah.
killing somebody who probably didn't need to be killed. Like, small like that, and then just like slowly, because it was obviously a Targaryen thing to descend into madness because they're
Mm-hmm.
all fucking inbred. I wanted to watch that process happen, but they took it from me.
well, and also, I mean, there were some subtle hints that that's where she was going, but and I don't even know if it was like completely. I mean, I don't even know if she was completely mad. I think she was definitely like tyrannical
Yeah, she was
at
just
the
like
end.
upset.
But yeah, I
Not
don't
even
think she
like
was like
crazy, just like
mad,
upset.
mad. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. You know, it is what it is. It's an interesting thing to think about how big of a sensation Game of Thrones was,
Oh man.
and then how quickly it was just gone.
Yeah.
It was like everybody vacated that ship pretty much
Literally.
after
Right.
after it ended, you know.
I remember every episode of the last season, everybody was invested. People started watching the show because of the hype from the last season.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And
for real.
It's unfortunate because like the last 2 seasons are probably like the worst out of the entire series. So like,
right.
if you start at that point, like you're definitely missing out. Like, on
Wait,
the
the
true
last two?
I feel like
When did Daenerys get to the Westeros?
that was like season
That was
Westeros.
that was
I think
second to last, right?
season 7, season 6. Wait, how many seasons are there?
I think there's 7. I want to say.
Whichever season had Daenerys walking out of, and you know what, I forgot for a second there. I forgot we were on a podcast. There, Game of
You was
Thrones has
about to
been
say
out
that
for a
word
long.
again?
No, I'm just saying Game of Thrones has been out for a long time.
It has.
As soon as we started talking about Game of Thrones, you probably should have turned it off because obviously shit's been spoiled by now.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
You
But
could
what-
put like a spoiler alert disclaimer. Ain't nobody
I'm
going
just
back
about
to watch Game of Thrones now though.
right. I'm just about to be like, there's some spoilers ahead.
For Game of Thrones.
Fast
Spoiler
forward.
alert.
Oh my god! Hey, wait a second. I might say it one more time so I can just get it clear, so I can take that and put it over anytime we're about to do a spoiler. All right.
No, man, I'm not doing it again.
Come on!
Not
Oh
for
my
free.
god!
Hey, pay that man.
Hey, pay me, man.
No residuals.
Dang.
Hey, we need that ad revenue.
I'm about
Nah.
to start saying that word.
Oh my god!
Hey, let loose, Marcus.
I'm about to ruin this pod before we can even take off.
I'm about to just put like a big ass bleep over your entire part. Anytime you talk, it's just gonna be like a long ass beep.
Dude.
Dude, that was fucking funny.
Gonna ruin the continuity, man.
Oh my god. But yeah, we should close it out. I feel like we don't have. I feel like we should try to have like a ending part that's always the same, so we know when we're ending. But also, we're
maybe
49 minutes in, and that's
kind of crazy. I was gonna say
Yeah.
maybe for like the ending, we could just like. Well, I guess you guys have already seen it, but for me,
Our
I could
ratings.
maybe or I was gonna say predict what we think's gonna happen in the next episode.
you can predict. You can do that.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
what I'm
do
saying.
that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair for us, but we could do that. We could rate the episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what do you predict is gonna happen next episode? Like, what do you think they're gonna show? What do you think?
I think he's gonna train his son a little bit more, and probably school him a little bit more in the superheroes. And I think the dad's gonna be acting weird because he just murked all the fucking superheroes. And did he like faint after the end or like fell
He
asleep or
did.
some shit? So he might be a little weird because of that. But Aside from that, I'm really not sure what direction, or maybe we might get some more backstory into like the superheroes. But yeah, that would be my guess.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna tell you now, Alex. Everybody dies in the next episode.
Okay.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up.
That's cool.
Alex, what would you rate this episode? I mean, obviously you don't have much context with the other episodes, but what would you rate this episode?
Honestly, I
on a
would say
scale
like
of 1 to 32.
No,
I'm just kidding.
What?
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
I would say maybe like a 8. Like definitely the ending was really strong, and that alone would make me want to keep watching the show. And it's kind of hard for like the pilot episode. I mean,
of course, yeah.
But I would say 8 overall because like I said, when he was like talking to his son, like I wasn't really vibing with that. But it makes sense now, like in retrospect, when you like look at the entire episode. But so yeah, I'd say probably an 8 for that episode.
That shit was stupid. I can't relate.
I ain't never had a dad.
I ain't got no dad.
That's what we gonna get into.
All right, this is a segment that's called Depression with Eric.
Oh Eric's daddy problem.
Marcus, what would you rate it, man?
I give it a 8.5.
8.5. Okay, that's kind of where I was about to go, like a 8.5 or 8.75. I gotta do a different rating. Okay, I'm gonna do the 8.51. Yeah, I think it was a pretty solid episode. I unlike Alex, I kind of enjoyed the father son. I feel like in those instances they did some things that most superhero shows don't do, which is how he was like explaining how flying works. Explaining how a superhero who can fly can punch hard with no leverage. Like him even saying something as small as we can create our own leverage was a lot to like. That was a lot for me. I was like, holy shit. Like I never really thought about how they can really pack a punch without having any footing. And they show, and I also like how they like apply that with the scene where Invincible's flying around. He like literally stumps on the air and just pushes off of it.
Yeah, that part was dope.
Holy shit. Like that, they literally applied it in the same episode. Like I feel like they don't waste dialogue in this show. I feel like it was a real solid episode.
Yeah, I think it's a good entry point. And definitely is enough to make a lot of people come back, you know, and it has been like, and I think it'll continue to be a sort of a big deal. It's interesting. What's interesting about this is that it's a superhero show that's animated.
Yeah. Yep.
Just because there's not like a lot of big superhero shows right now being made that are animated and are for adults.
Not anymore.
I like the fact that it's animated because I'm a big like gore fan, and I feel like live action that's a little bit harder to do.
Exactly.
But with animation,
without being like super gross.
Yeah, but like this, like
the uncanny valley.
Well, no, even this, like I'm not a big gore person, so I get grossed out pretty easily. But I was like, oh shit! Like when he squeezed Red Rush's head.
We didn't even talk about the fight itself.
Too late now. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning. But yeah, is there anything that y'all want to promote? Like y'all want to drop y'all social media names, anything like that?
Yeah, you can follow me at Omega Marcussis on Instagram and Twitter.
Follow that man at Omega Marcus Sus on Twitter. Alex, you got anything you want to promote, or you want to drop your
Alex, tell us what you've been eating this whole time.
Yeah, Alex, what the fuck are you eating?
Alex gone.
Oh my god. It seems we're having some technical difficulties, and Alex seems to have left.
Alex eating, man.
Oh my god. He just started eating mid fucking podcast. All right, I guess this is a good ending point, if any. All right. Yeah. We'll catch y'all next time. Hopefully we have a name. All right, peace.
And hopefully Alex returns.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Find out next time if Alex returns. That's the only way. All right,
Peace.
peace.